Hello, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. I hope you're well. Thank you for being here. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. This is your tarot card for the week of February 1st, 2026. I set the intention of this reading to be for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. So if you have Libra in any of those placements, odds are there's a little message in this reading for you. If you're not sure what your placements are, in the description box is a link where you can obtain your free birth chart. And also in that description box is information on how you can become a Time Traveler member. Keep in mind, this is a collective general reading, not individualized nor personalized to you. So as messages come through today, only take the ones that fit, because if it's not your message, it simply means it's meant for someone else. Also, quick little FYI, this is not what you don't see coming for the week ahead. Tarot card of the week reading is intended to help all of us move along with our respective journeys. With all of that said, let's begin. Tapping into the Libra collective now for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What does Libra need to learn during the week of February 1st, 2026? What do you want them to focus on? What do they need to know? One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your tarot card of the week, Ace of Wands. What passionate new beginning is coming into your life? And at the bottom of the deck, you have Eight of Pentacles. What areas of your life require you to create? So there's a new beginning here that's waiting for you, Libra, but you need to put a little shoulder into it. There's something here that you need to learn or do in order to create or manifest that Ace of Wands for you. Like, it won't just magically fall out of the sky. Tell me more about this here for the Libra collective. Why is the Ace of Wands their tarot card of the week? One more shuffle here. Thank you. We have the Queen of Cups, we have the Queen of Swords, we have the Emperor, and we have the Hierophant. Bottom of the deck, you have Strength, you have Sun, and you have the King of Wands. Libra, I feel like asking you, what's the problem? You have some of the best cards here. But at the bottom of the deck, you have the Five of Swords, the Page of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. And then the Five of Pentacles. Tell me about the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords energy here. Tell me about the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords energy here. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Queen of Swords and the Queen of Cups are being clarified by Four of Swords, Four of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. I'm getting this feeling, and again, these tend to be pretty specific, so if it's not yours, just move along and check another placement. But there's something here about a level of aggression or anger, and I don't know if it's directed inward towards yourself or towards someone else. But I get the feeling that based upon your past experiences, you are not currently in the position that you thought you would be in. And there could be a little pent-up rage or frustration. Again, maybe because you made some choices along the way that weren't, in your highest good or for your best. Or for some of you, you just were the recipient of someone else's poor decision making. But you're sitting here in the Four of Swords and the Four of Cups, which is this feeling of like malaise or feeling stuck or feeling emotionally depleted. And there's a little anger or rage here built up. I feel like you need to take action here on your own behalf, Libra. Tell me about the Hierophant. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The Hierophant is being clarified by the Three of Cups, the Eight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups. Bottom of that, King of Pentacles. Again, if it's not your message, don't take it. But for some of you, you are connected to the Hierophant. And that's where this Four of Cups is coming from. This Eight of Cups, maybe even this rage. So the Hierophant could be you are dealing with a financial institution or some institution or community group at large, and you're like at your wit's end over it. It could be that you've entered into a long-term committed partnership or possibly even a marriage. Hierophant in a career finance reading could be the institution or the entity or the corporation that you work for. If you're an entrepreneur, because we have the King of Wands on the table, it could even be your own business. Whatever the Hierophant represents for you, it's something that you currently feel stuck in. There's a feeling of malaise. There's a feeling of apathy. There's a feeling of, I'm stuck here. I'm not really happy. I'm trying to make the best of a really shitty situation, but that doesn't mean that it's the situation that I thought I would find myself in. And there's a little rage because of that. There's a part of you that wants to move on and move forward. You're sitting in the Eight of Cups. You're not happy with whatever this is. This is emotional discontentment. If you could move forward tomorrow, you would move in search of the Ninth Cup, which is emotional contentment. Why aren't you moving forward, though? So the situation, environment, or connection that you're dealing with is not emotionally pleasing. It's not supposed to be emotionally pleasing. It's supposed to actually be so uncomfortable that you choose to move in a new direction. And even though you're angry over the current situation, you're not currently doing all that you can do to move in that new direction. Eight of Pentacles. Remember in the beginning I said you got to put your shoulder into it. Why aren't you, though? Why aren't you? Why is Libra stuck in whatever this is? One more shuffle. Thank you. And I don't think you're stuck. I just think you feel like you're stuck. The Three of Wands, you're waiting. Hangman, you're waiting. Page of Wands, you're waiting. Bottom of the deck, Five of Cups. Five of Cups, Moon, and Justice. So you're waiting. You're either waiting for someone who made this situation into what it is. Some of you are waiting for this person to make it better. I don't think they're going to make it better. I think the whole intended purpose here was for you to become strong enough to know that you deserved better and that you would move on from it, whether it's a partnership that is professional, platonic, or romantic, or whether we're talking about work here or some other institution or community group that you're part of. So some of you are waiting for whoever did this to make it better. And I think you're missing the mark here. You're supposed to move towards the sun, meaning you're supposed to move towards health and abundance and healing and vitality and not wait for the person who did this to turn things around. I don't think they're going to turn things around. I think this was supposed to get so uncomfortable so that you would turn things around. For others of you, you're stuck in this, whatever this is, but you're waiting for the opportune time to move on from it. And you could be waiting for the opportune time because maybe for some of you, you're trying to save your money, right? Let's say this is a living situation and you want to move on, but you're like, yeah, Jen, I would have moved out of here 6 months ago. I don't have the money. But then Source is saying it's time to start making the money. Like, is there a side gig you can do? Are there things that you can sell? Tangible things. I'm talking about extra lamps or clothes that you don't wear or something like that. I'm not talking about like selling an organ or anything like that. But, you know, are there skills that you have? Is there a night job or a part-time job you can do? Is there any kind of freelance work you can do? Can you enhance a current skill that you have and then utilize that to make some side money, some side hustle for yourself? So for those of you where you're like, yeah, I'd love to move on from this, but I don't have the money, I think Source is just saying, look for some creative ways on how you can make the money and attain the money so you can move on. For others of you, you could be waiting for a legal outcome. And I get it. Sometimes we have to go through a divorce or we're going through a court case and we're like, well, I don't really know what to do because I'm waiting for a final verdict or, you know, a final decision. Fair enough. But there are little things in that Page of Wands that you could start doing to prepare, regardless of what the verdict or the decision will be. Like there's maybe some plans or some strategies you could start working on. Like if the ruling is this way, then I'm going to have A, B, and C in order. And if the ruling goes the other way, I'm going to have, you know, X, Y, Z in order. Instead of waiting till last minute. Maybe for some of you, this is contractual. You're like, I'd really love to leave this job, but I'm locked in for another 6 months. Okay, fair enough. Have you started getting your resume or applications and stuff together so you can start looking for a job from now? It's just you're telling them, hey, I'm not going to be available till whenever, July 1st or August 1st, whatever it is. But you got to start doing the work now. There's something like that here at play where you are stuck in a situation, environment, or connection, either contractually or for financial reasons or some other reason that's keeping you stuck, or you're waiting for some kind of, like I said, verdict or outcome. Totally understandable, but don't just squander this time waiting. You could be learning something, learning a skill, learning how to make money. You know what I mean? Saving up the money, getting some strategies and plans and stuff in place. This is not meant to be your life for the rest of your life, but you have to start making plans to move away from it or move on from it. Can I get 3 more cards here for Libra? So what passionate new beginning is coming into your life? I feel like if this message is resonating, you already know what it is. It's just you're not able as of today to move towards, again, financial. You know, I need the job, I got to save money, or I'm waiting for a verdict or an outcome. But you got to start putting some plans in place here, or like I said, learning something new, or start saving some money, cutting back on some costs and stuff. I was talking to my neighbor the other day. We had this terrible snowstorm come through, and we got like 2 feet of snow. And I mean, 2 feet of snow for someone who's like in their 70s, that's a lot for them to have to hand shovel. Plus, when the street plows go through, you know, that 2 feet of snow becomes 6 feet of snow because they push it all up against the curb and they block your driveway entrance. So since I was getting my driveway plowed so that would make it easier then for me to snow blow and hand shovel, I said, you know, when my plow guy gets here, I could just have him just do your opening, because he has a very tiny driveway. It's like his car goes in, there's no room around it, right? Which is fine. And because they usually step onto my side yard and stuff to get in and out of the car, and I don't mind. So there's really nothing to shovel around the car, right? Maybe a little path for them. And that's kind of what he was doing, but there was no way he was going to get, the mound of snow was taller than his car right in front. And he said, well, I don't have any money. Now, I don't want to say anything because they're elderly and I like them dearly, but they are overly generous with people they should not be overly generous with, because, you know, our houses are close by and I hear stuff that goes on, and they got children and they got grandchildren that talk nasty to them and take advantage of them. And meanwhile, now you have these people in their 70s with snow. They did not have 10 or 20 bucks to pay someone to just plow them out. And like I said, it wasn't a whole driveway. The whole driveway would have been more, but just that little entrance, someone would have did that for 10 or 20 bucks. And he said to me, I just don't have the money. I said, I got you covered. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I got you covered. And I thought to myself, I know that they have the money. They're not like completely destitute. You know what I mean? But they probably are in a financial bind because they overgive. So if they're waiting for their children or their grandchildren, you know what I mean, to suddenly be like, no, grandma, grandpa, no, really, save your money. I can go to work. I don't, you know, I'm not going to be a leech on you today. They could keep waiting for this person or these people to turn it around. They're not going to turn it around. They're put in that uncomfortable position even at their ages because they're supposed to learn to say no. They clearly are people pleasers. And it puts them in quite a predicament when something like that happens and they don't have 20 bucks. I'm not saying that that is your situation, but there's something like that. If you're waiting for the person who put you in this emotional lack or financial lack to turn things around, I don't think they're supposed to. I think the lesson here was for you to rise up, for you to realize that you want more, and for you to move in a new direction, for you to create that sun energy for yourself. I don't think you could wait for someone who puts you in the 4 of Cups and 8 of Cups to suddenly make it better. If they were going to make it better, wouldn't they have just done that from the beginning? If they're waiting for their kids or grandkids to not take advantage of them, wouldn't they have already treated them with the respect that they deserve? You know what I mean? Let's get you 3 more cards on this. Yeah, don't waste your life waiting for someone who did this to you to suddenly make it right. 1 more shuffle. Thank you. Anything else you need to know? 10 of Swords. 6 of Pentacles and the Devil. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to show you the cards. Don't wait for the person who did this to suddenly be generous and start giving to you what you deserve. Because clearly they're takers. Let's get you 3 cards of advice. Maybe that was the reason why I felt called to share that story with you. You have someone here who's taken a lot from you. I don't think you can wait for them to make it better. You're supposed to make it better by moving in a new direction. And I'm not expecting you to do it all today or this week. But you got to start creating that new direction in terms of a plan or strategy. And right behind that, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is, you know, high vibrational Virgo energy is creating the structure and the plan. And I think that's all sources asking you to do this week. Just start creating the structure and the plan of what life would be like outside of whomever or whatever this is. Once you get a plan in place, you're smart enough to be able to work towards it. I wouldn't wait for that to make things better. 3 cards of advice here. One more shuffle. Thank you. High Priestess, 9 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Cups. Bottom of the deck, Ace of Cups. It's yours for the taking. You know, life is made up of choices, and we all have the divine gift of free will. You do not have to become single, free, and independent of whomever, whatever this is. You can continue to exist in a situation that treats you like 4 of Cups and 8 of Cups, emotionally or financially, you know, depletes you, maybe sexually neglects you if this is a love partner, possibly cheats on you, devil to the 10 of Swords, you know, puts you in conflict, leaves you feeling in lack. The moon energy stirs up all these feelings and triggers and doubts and emotions. You can continue to stay with that person, or you can become single, free, and independent of them. Find who you are again. Make some new friends and new connections. And fall in love with someone who will truly value you. And same thing if this is work. I'm not telling you have to quit your job tomorrow. But you need to start getting your applications and resumes out there. You really have to put your shoulder into it. Like you have to make it your second job to find another job. And then, yeah, you do find it. And you'll make more money. You go from 5 of Pentacles to 9 of Pentacles, and there's a reason to celebrate and rejoice. But you have to love yourself enough in that Ace of Cups to do this. And if this is you, again, like you're contractually obligated somewhere, again, I was going to say you got to. You don't got to. You don't have to do anything. You have the divine gift of free will. But if you know the lease is coming up, the job is coming up, your contracted term here is coming up, it's time for you, even if it's 3 months or 6 months away or maybe 9 months away, you have to start planning for that. I mean, this reading is for the week of February 1st. We're already through the first month of the new year. So the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever this is, it's going to go by really quick. Best be prepared. My stepdad says, what's his saying? Failing to plan is planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. I think it's time for you to plan. And with that will come success. That is what I have for you for the week ahead, Libra. If you like those messages, they resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of them, please be sure to click like, share, comment, and subscribe. Hype the video if you're able to do that. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.